Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Today's subject is, see it like that, you think,
Oh gosh.
yeah, but that is that. And what I've
Mm,
done is I've taken all the
colour out.
tone and colour out and tried to, that's what I said, if you were an abstract artist, you could have some real fun with that.
Mm.
I've actually sketched it a little bit more, like I said last week, a bit more detail. You see what I'm on about now. Oh, what a bore. Yeah, so I found it quite interesting also. What else did I that one, and I got that one as well. I like the sky sort of and the sea on that. So, and the shades on that are nice as well because you're not zoomed in.
Mm.
You can sort of squint your eyes up. I think that's probably one that I've used years ago. There's a bigger view of it there. And the other thing I did was zoomed in on the figure lying on the beach, and so I could see it a bit better, like that. Just in case I decide we get time to paint it.
Mm.
I'd be like Mrs. Brown now.
Mm.
Right, you up for this then?
Right.
Well,
Ready when you are. Go for it, Dave.
Yeah.
if I
I think
change,
I've done this one so many times. There we
Oh,
go.
well, yours will be. You know what to do.
No. This is one that, you know, I
Oh.
might not have time to do.
All right.
But I'll see.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Bye-bye.
I'm over here now.
Yeah.
Oh, get me hairdryer. Hang on.
Oh, lucky me. On the free cycle site, somebody was just a couple of roads away from me. Had a hairdryer they were giving away because they did a new one for Christmas. So
Wow.
now I've got my hairdryer and I've got my art hairdryer. Makes such a
Oh, wow.
difference.
Oh, wow.
All right.
How was your pantomimes? Because you went to 2, didn't you, Chris?
I did. Yes, they were very
Lucky,
good.
wasn't it?
Yeah, very good. And we've still got another one to go.
All right.
Gosh.
Oh, no, you haven't.
Oh, yes, we.
Oh, dear. The first thing I'm going to do today, definitely recording. I had, even after getting paranoid now, I even had a second look a minute ago before I sat down. Going to need some bit of blue space. I'm going to clean that out. Don't often clean the palette out, but today's the day. You can never get them that clean anyway. They always got, even a flat one somehow or another, it's got a little divot in it that's got a little dark patch in it. And as soon as you mix up some color, oops, there it goes. But I'm not changing the palette that much. The only thing I've got is that really sky blue color. It's called Horizon Blue that I bought. It's a Holbein Japanese paint. Avoid it if you can, because, well, if you're feeling wealthy, go for it, but it ain't cheap. A little, I was going to say, a snotty little tube like that, you're looking at, I don't know, 12 quid, 10, 12 quid.
Crikey.
Yeah, I know. I keep saying my son's really tight. But I'm starting to think, oh, maybe he got it off of me. I keep having these great ideas and think I'll buy this, buy that, and filling up my shopping cart online. And then just as it's back to say, right, buy now, I cancel out. I did it about 3 times this morning before I started. I had this idea to buy some art, A2, A3 art archival art boxes, you know, to store all my paintings and what have you in. And they were like, I don't know, 14 quid each or something like that. And I thought, go on, go on. Oh, that'd be so lovely. And then I thought, hang on, 2 lots of 14, that's 28 plus carriage. It's getting up towards 40 quid. Nah, I'll get some boxes off the postman and see what happens. What's they called? Amazon. They're always sending me things in boxes. I'll wangle some of those. The ones to look out for are the DHL parcels, because they use yellow boxes, and they're, when you open them up, they're clamshell. You've got like a flip on the top. You pull it out and lift it up, you know, sort of like this, and it's got this clamshell sort of box, and you can put loads of stuff in there and close it up. And that's the same design as the £14 a box ones are. I've got one, but it's not quite big enough. So I zoom in a little bit, if I can. I don't think I'll get away with 3. Start off with my water out. Turned upside down because I want to do the sky. I think that'll do. And I didn't want to muck up my nice drawing. So I've got some raw sienna in my box. So I think I'll tentatively drop some raw sienna in. Just clean water. Water. There's a T in the word. Water. At least it's my favorite one is the Americans. They have a real problem with water. Water. It's water. Where's this? Where do you get this water from? I've spoiled it now. Every time you see an American TV program or chat thing, you'll be going, Dave's right. They can't say water. It's water. Gosh, there's water on the moon. No, there isn't. There's no such thing as water. Oh dear. Love it. I'm going to use a smaller brush if I can, a softer one. It's about a number, I don't know, number 4. I'm going to add some raw sienna. Don't know why. It seemed like a good idea to the horizon line. Luckily, we haven't got. It's only a small horizon. Well, that's in the background. I don't want to put any yellow in because I don't want it going off green. I reckon we're in for an early lunch. Oh well. Yeah, let's go for quality rather than just teasing it in. Remarkable how quick this paper dries. I don't know why. I keep, obviously, because I've got it at such a fairly steep 30-degree angle. Maybe that's the reason. And then I'm just going to use some of this amazing blue. And turn the board up the other way again. Go on, I'll do it. Dare you. It was just the horizon I wanted it to do. Right, you ready for this? This is that blue. This blue is seriously okay. It's really expensive, but you know how strong.
Long way, that tiny little dot you had on the palette.
Oh no, I'm thinking, wow, I think I might have overcooked it.
It's a lovely colour, isn't it?
It's serious, really strong blue.
Yeah.
And the trouble is, I've put that in the palette. Now I'm stuck with that. Well, no, because I don't. What I mean is, I'm not going to throw that away at these prices.
No.
Ooh,
It'd be all right, wouldn't it? I'll have to tilt the board back up the other way in a minute. That'll zoom it back a bit. There was me thinking I was short of water.
mm,
I don't know if they did this do this colour in acrylics, Holbein Horizon Blue. But I reckon you could you can make a real entrance on the art scene using this in your just a bit of clean water. See if I can tease something out of there, and just using my brush to soak up some of the water on the got water on the moon on the brain there. Water. Oh dear. Well, hence the reason I was keen to get the hairdryer, because I anticipated that I was going to have to dry this off before I could go boldly where no other artist has ever gone. In my palette, I've got some purple colour. I can't show you at the moment because I'm holding the board up, but I've just mixed a bit of it. Push that over. I've just mixed a bit of purpley colour with that blue, and I'm just going to drop it into that horizon because it's gone sort of a grey colour. Drop a few bits in. Add a little bit of interest if I can. Bear in mind it's splish splosh watercolour, so it's going to fade quite nice. Thought it might be nice if I'll show you in a sec. If I could just drop a few bits of it in. Where's my palette here? I've got there you go. This sort of purpley colour from last week. So I've a little dollop of that and a little bit of the blue, mix it up on the side of the board and just drop it in here and there, see what happens. Especially in that alcove. Well, otherwise it's just well, not just, it is a plain sky. So I'm just looking at my paper, and I've got a few, there's one there, areas where there's something wrong with the paper. So I'm thinking, I'm stuck. I need to, if I put a few bits on it, it might distract the eye from it. But this one here is really bad. It's just a manufacturing, processing mark. So, but you don't notice them until you start painting. The only way to do it is
a
to.
light area.
Beg your pardon, Chris?
I said it's typical. It's in a light area.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be in the rocks,
So-
could it?
No. So what I'm doing is sometimes, rather than try and hide it, the only way to do it is to accentuate it and make it part of the picture. But looking at that, I probably find the only way of doing it is going to be to put some permanent white on. Sometimes you can do it and it'll just disappear.
Turn it into a night sky and it could be a meteor.
Yeah. I'll leave it for now. I think it might be have to sort it out when it dries. There's another bit there. Yeah. Well, herringull. Thing is, you can't always tell until it all dries off. I'm just lifting the clean brush water, just rolling it, because I notice some of the places where it, because I'm at an angle, you'll get these strong bits of colour which you wouldn't. I know they don't look natural, do they? So, look like what they are, paint that's rolled back that shouldn't. Well, they are in my eye. They are. Try and get. I think sometimes the flat brush is, I spend more time using it as a lifting out for clouds than I do. Looks better lifted out, I think.
Definitely.
Trouble is with, well, one of the issues with watercolor is not a trouble. It's just one of those things that you can't, until it starts drying off, it's difficult to see what exactly, you know, what's going on. But while it's nice and damp, just lift off some cloudy bits. I'm conscious of not doing too much because I don't want it, I don't know, it's me. I don't want it to look like it's contrived red Indian clouds. A lot of the time, if it's reflected of the scale and scope of what you're painting. Then, because sometimes when if I'm out looking at the sky, within my field of view, I don't see that many clouds. You know, if there's always like a gap, isn't there? A certain amount, or invariably, based on the view. Just lifting off anything I can see at the moment. Anyway, you get the drift. And as it dries, or as it sort of dries off, you start to see lighter and lighter patches, and you think, oh, that'd be nice. I'll just gently tease that off. You start seeing clouds. A bit like Salvador Dali, I suppose. Having a dream. I'd like to see one of his paintings up front, up close.
I went to sorry. I went to the museum in Spain in Figueras. I dragged a husband and two friends there for about 5 hours, and it was absolutely incredible. It was amazing.
I don't know how he could paint that well. Because it's almost like photographic when I look at them on the. So must have used something to mask things out to get the straight lines, and I don't know. That's what I wanted to do, is see the brush strokes and see what's what, you know. I think I've gone over now from dabbing with a tissue on my clouds to lifting them out with the brush, you know. Even the mop brush, you can do it, just roll it. You can just, especially when the paper's nice and damp, you can just sort of lightly touch it, wipe it off in the tissue, get such nicer clouds. And they're softer as well. Quite like that. And if you want to put some of that dirty, shadowy colour in subtly on the bottoms, nothing stopping it. I think Gomphus. It's quite funny when you're looking out the window and it's a horrible grey day, isn't it?
Mhm.
And even the dog got wet this morning. Just sent him out for a tinkle, like you do. See how wet it is, it's still doing the biz there. Right, next port of call. I think what I'm talking about. I'm going to go straight in clean water and tackle the beach at the moment, and then use hairdryer. But I think I'm going to use a bit of that flesh tone that we had from last week, just to set the scene. I suppose at some point I ought to look at the reference photo, but hey ho. I think while I'm at it, I'll gamble and paint Doodle Door with some of that colour as well, just set a base tone. I think, well, I know that with watercolours, what you need to do is look at the picture and find the lightest colour and paint that first, because you always paint, just drop it in and hope. It's, one thing about the pencils, they're not always waterproof, are they?
Mhm.
So it's sort of smudges. Just a bit of frustration. But just drop a bit in there and there. Go and put the kettle on at this point, wouldn't you, normally? And hope that the god of art comes along and fixes the painting while you've gone. Times I've done that. Right. Oh, it's not looking too bad. Quite bright on the camera there. Is that better or worse? It'd be up there. I think it was better.
Mm.
So I've got a little studio. I don't think it makes any difference.
It's just me then. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a bit stronger.
Ooh.
A bit bright.
Oh God, green.
No.
That's close. Some
Right,
go-
I'm going to disappear now, so I'll see you all next week.
Okay,
Okay,
Carol. Bye.
To Peter.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care.
Good luck with picture.
Good luck. Yeah. Lucky to get in the blooming place. All they're really struggling, aren't they, these hospitals?
Yeah. Yeah.
A hairdryer on this, just to set it off.
Whoops.
Water dribbling everywhere.
Mm.
How long was the sale on for at Hobbycraft, Chris?
Oh, it was still on. I didn't notice when it finished.
Right.
But no, I bought these books of canvas paper,
Mm,
and I bought some new brushes. They weren't in the sale though,
right.
and some tubes of acrylic paint, which were in the sale.
Yeah,
Um,
bargain.
yeah, I was very pleased. And I still had change from my gift voucher to spend
All
next time.
right. Oh, wow. Good.
Yeah. It's nice now that I know that I've got plenty of paper.
Yeah.
I've been using canvases a lot and they're so expensive, plus they
Right.
take up a lot of room.
Yeah.
And whereas, I'm not doing anything with them, they're just sat
Yeah,
there, taking up
that's
so
right.
much room.
You need a storage room, don't you? For it all.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my storage rooms are full up with
One of the
charity
things I
stuff.
wanted to do this morning, I had in my plan, was to make a decision what colours water. By that I mean sea. So it's where the whole painting goes to the other side of the planet. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have a go anyway. I'm going to just clean this area up. Where am I?
I was going to say, it seems a lot of paint.
I'll just tidy this area up. Well, the thing is, I tend to clean it up relating to if I've still got a picture that I want to tinker with. Or, I think, oh, that was a lovely flesh tone. I spent a couple of hours, 2 paintings to get it to that stage, and then just to wash it off is nuts. But let's have a go. The colour I'm going to play with for the water, I'm going to use good old ultramarine. I don't know. I'm going to try it. Clean it off. Bit of Hooker's green. Maybe a bit more. And I'm just looking at the reference picture and a little pinch. That's not an artist's term, is it? A little pinch of burnt sienna. See what happens. Do you know what? This is going to be interesting. So what I'm going to do is grab the mop. That sounds funny. Grab me mop.
Have you got your bucket?
I was thinking that. Give it a. I think I might buy a slightly smaller one. I don't know. Then again, I think, oh, that's another bloody 40 quid. Don't go there unless they got any special offer ones. Let's make that damp. I think I'll just dip me mop into that colour I just mixed up and just flip it over. See what happens. Considering I'm not that keen on ultramarine. Don't think I'm doing too bad. Maybe a little bit more green, right? Drop it in, couldn't I? Ooh. Talk about a steady hand. It's not my favourite process.
You said it was the loudest it would go.
Well, it was last time I left.
Um,
A bit more green. Don't know why I've got Oh,
You didn't say hello to everyone. Chris is there.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
He's not stopping.
I'm not stopping. I'm
Oh, hello, goodbye.
Cheers.
just adding a little bit of the Hooker's Green. I read somewhere that this was the colour that the water was, so I thought, in for a venture today then. Anyway, Hooker's Green, ultramarine blue, Hooker's Green, and a smidgen of burnt sienna. Seems like it might. I think I need to go that way a little bit. Just trying to think which way the waves are going to go.
Mhm.
I think it'll dry back all right. Well, it's on there now. And there's a little bit in the center that's got some a lighter. So just dry, clean brush and just go across, wipe it off in the cloth. Another case of, why do I put all this paint on? I'm only taking it off again. Hopefully we'll get some reflections, at least set the tone for some reflections, especially there. There's only one O in door, isn't there?
No.
I always thought there was, but now they've got two.
Yeah.
Anyway, I spelt it on my thing with one O, so
Yeah, I always used to spell it with one O.
it was only till I spelt it with two. I thought, well, I don't think that's right, Dave. Little. See what happens there. Of course, until we tackle the have a go at the door. Yeah, Mel's hairdryer blew up this week. I think they use it to clean the dog off, and this is one. It's not a trait. It's one of the things you've got to be wary of with the that type of dog. It's got such long hair that if it gets wet, it all gets matted. Right, I'm going to go mad here. I'm going to carry on with that sea green colour that I made. Add some burnt sienna to it for a minute. I'm going to go. Ooh, not quite as dark as that. I'm squinting my eye out, but where I've put dark lines on my pencils, I'm just going to add some of this shadow tone to it. That was the only reason I put it on the, that I shaded it with the pencil so that I could just sort of, a bit like we did with, that's what I was on about when I was saying I fancied doing it like I was tackling the portraits by putting a shady area in, drying it off, and then dropping the lighter colour on top. If you're up there, George, watching me,
Mhm.
you should be nodding, saying, yep, that's the way. The only issue is that it involves sort of putting colour on, getting it dry, and then flushing it with like a wash, really, of a lighter colour afterwards. So in this sort of, it's a bit more burnt sienna. In this sort of environment where time is sort of limited, you sort of lucky if it works. You really need to give it more time to go bone dry and really set in. But hey ho, got a hairdryer. Have a laugh. Trying to. I think what I've done, like you, Chris, I've painted this and tried to. Well, I've sold it quite a few times, but blowed if I can remember if there's a right and wrong way of doing it.
Mm.
I don't think I've ever done it the same way twice. It was only until I was doing the pencil sketch that I thought to myself, how have I painted this in the past? Like,
Mhm.
couldn't remember.
Yeah.
It didn't strike a chord with me.
I'm
But I
going to go
think,
back in my photo gallery and have a look and see how I've done it in the past.
yeah, I think looking at it, I think I probably did the opposite to what I'm doing now and painted the shady, the background, even though I did put a quick wash on. So I'm going to let that dry off. Failing that, it's a surreal version.
Yeah.
My surreal moments.
Mhm.
Well, I've got that shadowy tone floating around. I'll stick some on the reflections here. Try and, might need a bigger brush for this. It's amazing, isn't it? You just use one colour for something and just add a little bit of extra to it and it turns into the next stage of the painting. Oh, really big brushes, so I could do a bigger one. Trouble is, once you start, you just keep tinkering away, don't you? Because you see one little bit of a picture, you think, oh, that's all right, keep going. I need more of that. Anyway, today's, well, part of today's message is Cooker's Green isn't as bad as I've always said it was.
Very useful.
Oh, it's a strange colour, isn't it?
Mm.
You look at it, start with, you think, well, there's no way I can put that in a picture. And as you look, as time goes on, it suddenly thinks, hang on its own, it is awful.
Mm. Yeah, it's definitely
Glad-
for mixing.
Yeah. But old Hooker, he had something.
I was looking for a stay wet palette at Hobbycraft and they didn't have any. I might have to invest in the one that David was talking about.
Have you looked online?
No, I haven't. It was only yesterday.
Right.
Yesterday I went over there. Sorry, day before.
I'm just wondering if the dentist is going to let me down. I'm supposed to be going tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock or something, and they always cancel the appointment sort of the day before. So I say, I think they might be letting me down now, unless something's come through while I've been stood here. It's like, it's all the same, isn't it? When you think, well, I can't be asked if I go or not, they don't cancel. Anyway, this is just flesh tone. I'm just dropping it in onto the darks colours that I was hoping it would just sort of melt in, a bit like they do on the flesh, on skin portraits even. So just dropping it straight on top of the shadowy bits and praying to the archangel. It'll dry back really nice. But I hate doing the same. I don't think hate. I try to avoid doing things dirty. Like to see what happens, what evolves. But the trouble is, when you're doing this at this stage, it's really blocking in anyway. How many times have I said, by the time that last 10 minutes with a rigger and some darks makes all the difference, turns the picture into something else. It's just flesh and burnt sienna. Just bit of that, 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 and a bit of that. Burnt sienna over there. And while it's damp, just drop it in. See what happens. The burnt sienna's warming it, will warm it up, especially areas. If you look at the reference picture, there's some bits, aren't there, that, especially where it meets the water's edge. Beauty of the raw sienna, burnt sienna, sorry, is you can introduce a little bit of it in the water, in the ocean, that's just dangling on the brush there. Remember the color I used to make the sea had burnt sienna in it anyway, so it's not an averse color for it as it happens. Right. I think it's time for me. Size 6 brush. Makes a bit more of the sea shape, sea color. Ultramarine, can't believe it. After all this time saying I hate ultramarine, I'm relying on it to give me a nice shadowy sea blue. And we're just going to go straight across with the brush and don't just loaded it once. Just going to go straight across, keep going. And there, because everything in the picture is too perfect. I just want to make some waves, I was going to say. We're making waves, but I'm not. I'm just trying to make some shadow areas. But what I have discovered over the years is with this doing this watermark is once you start, keep going, don't stop. Oh, actually, got a light reflection coming in through the window, so I can't actually see what's going on over there. It's got a reflection coming on. So I sat down. It was this area just here that had see, that's the color on that camera is wrong there. Big tile. It's definitely not that blue. It's more that. That's a bit more subtle. That's better. I thought my looking at a different picture then on the screen. Apologies for that. Hopefully we're still recording. So I ain't doing this one again. This is where you become a. What I would say is, and I'm refreshing my own memory. Don't put too many colours on, because you'll only end up looking at it later and thinking I'm gonna wash all that off. What I am looking at is mixing up some more burnt sienna and blue, maybe a bit of hooker's green. So this is the theme colour today, is ultramarine. Now I'm using burnt umber, darker, and still adding a bit of hooker's green to it to give us a, not black, but a refreshing green, a refreshing shadow colour with the thought process of adding. Let's get my slip my reference image up over there somewhere. And it's the usual watercolor technique of deciding where your shadow area wants to go, add some paint, and then where the paint underneath it, just put some clean water and let it drizzle down anywhere. Clean water. This, I mean, you can spend days doing this. I'm not gonna, but I'm just gonna add lots of where I put my shadows earlier, where I decided my pencil lines. I'm just going to put loads of this strong colour and then come back in a minute. Just really save time, otherwise I would spend ages doing this. Put my brush in clean water and then just soften it down where I put the paint. Try and get it to bleed and blend in. Feather, isn't it? That's the word I'm looking for. Feather in. You'll get some hard edges, which can be quite nice. What colour was it? Burnt umber, blue, and some green. More burnt umber. Makes it darker. But I thought it's a good one to use because, well, good idea, because it follows the tone of the water. So we're trying to reflect and utilize it. Balance the picture up without too much waffle. And then just clean water and soften it down. Okay, try and make it feather itself into the nooks and crannies of dear old Durdle Door. If I remember rightly, this is like a line goes across them. Could do a bit dry brush work on that. It's looking like, no, it's not too bad. Sure. Don't know why, but I sat down on the job. Don't often sit down when I'm painting. I used to stand up quite often, more often than not.
especially in the summer when we're out in a conservatory. Remember those days?
Mm.
They'll be coming back soon, won't they?
Hopefully.
Now what I'm going to do, I've still got this really dark colour, and I'm going to really stick a blob of it over here and try and soften that down. Clean water, try and drizzle it aloft, try and carry it over a bit. Clean water, just try and feather it across. It's a bit better. Yeah, happy with that. Just get that, the rigor involved. Time just grizzles away. You've got the holding the brush at a funny angle there. This is what I did in the previous incarnations of this image. I'm pretty sure of it. I would have. Well, it's just government policy now, isn't it? For everyone to catch it at some stage,
Wow.
more or less. Well, there's no way. They've sort of almost given up. I haven't.
No, I haven't either.
No.
Well, I'm going to the dentist tomorrow. It's always a bit, but they're pretty.
They're usually good, aren't they? And
Yeah, you can't get in
I
there
like
without
it, yeah.
masking up, and
Yeah.
they, you know, even in the waiting room, they put the chairs
Yeah.
in such a way that you're nowhere near it. Well,
Mm.
and if anyone starts coughing, I'll just
Run.
keep out of the room anyway, wouldn't you? I'm just using a rigger here now to tease things away. Yes. How am I off for time, Pauline?
Nearly 10 to 12.
Well, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
Got
I said
loads of
early
time.
lunch. I didn't think. I think I'm not deliberately doing them quick. It's just maybe we're getting good at this. Getting the hang of it at last.
Change the we to I.
Absolutely.
Mm.
I think it started. I joined a group. It's just rigger. I'm just using a rigger and some of the burnt umber, hooker's green, and the blue to mix up a sort of greeny black, really dark colour. Just fell off me end of my brush. I'm just teasing in some really. It's not black, is it? It's really dark, and just teasing them in. Just almost scrubbing it with the rigger. So anywhere, and if I want some rock lines or edge lines on the crevices of Durdle Door, just hold your brush level flat and just drop it on. You can pull it away a little bit as well if you want. But as it's drying, trust me, you'll see little lines up forming. You can just sort of say that's definitely an angle of a rock, you know. It's a bit like paint. I've said it a million times before, but it's a bit like painting the waves on the sea. As it dries, you'll see like, oh, let me think. There's a little line here. So if I just put a little bit of that dark colour, it forms like the top of a wave, or not. They're not waves there, are they? They're more little dribbly things, a bit like Mediterranean. Not that I've ever been there, but I always figure that ain't got proper waves because it ain't a, but it has, hasn't it? It's just a big lake. Mediterranean, isn't it?
very big lake. Yeah.
A whopper.
Mm, dear.
I went to Knee Meadows once. That's got a lake in it. Well, it's got a pond. Oh, just go fishing there. That was great fun. I think I was out of work or something. I don't know. Mel used to drop me off there in the morning, same time as taking the kids to school, and come back and pick me up in the afternoon when, 4 o'clock, when she picked them up. I'd be there all day fishing. Well, not really, just sat there pretending. No, I've never been a red hot fisherman. Like most blokes, you think you are, but you ain't. There you go. Right. Let's have a look at that bit in there. Yeah, more dark. Must be warmer here than I thought, because my palette's drying out quicker than. Da, da, da. As it dries, you sort of look at it and think, right, what can we do to this to make it look exceptionally naughty? I don't know. Well, I do. I've got an idea. It's just to add some of yellow. Just warm it up a bit. Yellow and burnt sienna together. Almost gives you Naples yellow, doesn't it? Probably get away with using the. Got a big brush here, so number 6, so could maybe drop a few hints of it in. Where I'll probably put it in and then lift it off. A few spots of it.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
This is where you become an artist or not. In my case, I think I'm struggling at the moment. Oh, no. The idea was just to add a little bit of interest to it. Add a little bit of warmth. That's a bit better. Great if you've got acrylics, because it just sort of, you can sort of blend it about and mush it in. Or namby-pamby watercolor artists can't do that. It's all about layers, isn't it? Yellow, burnt sienna. Woo! That was flipping brave, wasn't it? See if I can lift it down a bit. Should be all right. Well, it's certainly done the job. Hopefully, it's not too staining the colour. And just sort of use a bit of tissue to lever it off a bit. The problem is these things, they have consequences. So you put like yellowy bits somewhere. So invariably, you have to put a little dab of the yellow on the water to give that a little bit of extra oomph. Oh, getting the hang of this now. Now, at this stage, if you've got to when you get to this stage of the picture, the rest is up to you. What I mean by that is,
You decide what you want to put on it afterwards. Do you want to put put a red sail in the background? Not that I've ever seen boats there, but it is an option. Some people could put somebody reclining or some figures on the beach. Some people could put a seagull. Oh, look, it's all spread. Oh, well. Some people could get a brush, tissue, bit of tissue, some burnt umber. What colour? Bit of burnt umber, bit of that nitrous oxide, that stuff. What's that? That, look at it. That red is absolutely mind blowing. How bright it is. Just takes over the whole. Everything goes on my desk. It goes. I don't know. Goes on the paper eventually, but it's just terrible stuff. Just to spatter a bit on the beach. My favourite one is using, oh, there's plenty of that. Using some of that dry tissue, just while it's damp, flow it across it. Make the pebbles bits have a little bit of shadow on them. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. That flipping rose madder, most brilliant colour, but equally the most obnoxious colour. Do anything with it, just goes mad. So high intense. I don't know what they make it with. Some sort of supersonic dye, I suppose. Anyway, you can add some more darks at your leisure. I'm not going to do too much more because it's going to, not on the door. It's still damp and I've got this sneaking suspicion that it's got too much damp paint floating on it, so it's going, what's it call it, muddy, which we don't want. Bit burnt sienna, maybe. No, I'm just trying to think. Trouble is the scale of the painting of the area is so big. If you want to put any figures in, they're so small. Seems a bit off on that. Look at it. Couldn't clean it off my brush. Oh, flipping stuff, isn't it? It's amazing. Love it when it all goes wrong, don't you? Well, no, it's not gone wrong. It's just so flipping annoying. Get so far and something stupid screws it up. Anyway, can't get a fine line. Right, you're determined to be part of the picture, so you're going in. Nah, not working. Tissue, give me some tissue. Just, the problem is with that, well, the issue with that rose madder is it stains so much. Just dry that off with a machine. Try again. Trying to get a little chisel area on my brush. Because they're so distant, the figures in this, you don't need much of a blimey. I wanted was a bit of blue. Keep smoothing my brush down the edge of the paper so I can get a little fine chisel shape on it. And then I can just tease in some carrots. A couple of carrots. We don't know what they are or who they are. Well, I don't seem to be able to get a really intense dark colour apart from a bright purpley rose colour that's so highly staining. Anyway, hey, go for it. We'll leave that. And perhaps stick a, for now, something over there. Is that a figure? Yeah, it could be. Head same height. Some idiot climbing up the rocks over here. Yeah. So now find some of that. When you want to find a little bit of very light purpley shadow colour, just stick on the where the figures, well, intimation of figures are. Hopefully we can find a bit. Door in its finest hour. Never surrender. Cool, that takes us. Oh, Stephen rang me yesterday.
Oh yeah, how is he?
Yeah, it was okay.
Is he painting?
Well, I must. I keep what I've been doing is when I finish the painting, I'll use a bit of detail paper. Doesn't look too bad on the screen actually. Detail paper and trace round or etch round my finished painting. Just take the line and then trace it down on some boards, copy it down on some boards so that you've got an outline. And then I can take a picture, send a picture of my finished painting as well for him to work on.
Mm.
So I need to send him another one. Oh, I used to send back. I think I sent 4 or 5 at a time. That's why I bought that white board, wasn't it? It's an expensive hobby, that, Stephen. It's lovely. If we can, it's a bit in the sky there. There you go. I'm not going to do too much more to this.
till it's dried back. And that's the end, the finish of the palette. It looks a bit like that, which isn't far off what we started with. Apart from that blue, and I still kept my darks there, but it was a bit pinkier, wasn't it? And I've still maintained that sort of shadowy colour over here, adding lots of water to it, and I can utilise it on the where the beach meets the water in places. In the even add it as it's drying out, we can add some shadowy bits here and there. As I say, it's slightly overworked now. Never mind. And I've still got the really dark shadow here. Probably these coastal things, as they do, as it dries, you start seeing little, I don't suppose they're runbacks, little dry back lines. And you think, oh, I just put a little bit of, oh, that looks like a, oh, that looks like a wave. That looks like a line in the rocks. And I find the way to do it is to just use the rigger and dry brush some little areas on it, and it sort of gives that little hard edge that makes everything look nice. Then of course you've got your imagination.
I'm surprised there's any water left. That dog's been drinking it for a long time.
Thought it was an elephant.
Oh, I've always said it was, always thought it was a dog.
Oh, right.
Maybe, I don't know.
On the DA canon, they always say it's the elephant.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. Mind you, that's stylized. It's not realistic.
Ah, right. Don't know why. Some idiot. You always get someone that walks along, sees a stick and sticks it in the flipping sand so that as you walk along, you end up falling over and tripping over it. Boom. I think that's one of my trademarks. That's Tuesday sorted.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, it's very, very soft.
Yeah.
I think it, I mean, as it'll dry back, and I'll tweak a few bits here and there, but yeah, what I want. I'm happy.
It's a good job you didn't choose the Easter when there was 5,000 people there.
Yeah,
Jumping
I've never-
off the
that
top.
would have been a challenge.
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I've never
With
been down there.
helicopter.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could have had Cliff on the top singing.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
On Wikipedia, it says you can spell it either way, Dave.
actually, that looks.
Mm.
I'm quite pleased with that.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I think if you it's not about the end result, it's about the method, the way we get to it, isn't it? The journey there. I think it was quite a pleasant journey.
Mhm.
Mixing the ultramarine, Hooker's green, and a teeny bit of burnt sienna does give quite a nice sea colour, watercolour. I don't think it's just sea, it just does water full stop, that mix. Who was it I was watching that? Oh, Charlie Evans. Sometimes he pops up on my YouTube channel every now and then. That's the problem. If you watch someone's videos and subscribe, you end up getting notifications, when they come up. and good old Charlie. I don't like a lot of what he does and what he says, and he comes across as a bit misogynistic to me. And but I think maybe it's just typical Yorkshire. But he is a good artist, there's no doubt about it. And he comes
Like
up,
the seascapes.
yeah, he does some good stuff. His winter scenes are nice. I can only, yeah, no, he comes up with some good ideas. I haven't bought any of his books yet, but he's very much like me in that if there's a easy, cheap way of doing it, I'll find it. And he does, you know, he uses aquafine paints, which are artist quality, but they've changed now and they're using proper pigments instead of synthetic ones. So the quality of the paint's good, and they're half the price as the artist ones. And the brushes he uses the aquafine artist ones, and he only uses 2 or 3 brushes, not on, you know. But I think that's the thing about painting like this in general, that when you start off, don't you think, oh, I need this, or you get a dull, bored moment, and you think, oh, I'll get one of them, and it invariably sits in your tin for 20 years, or it comes out once in a blue moon, because you end up using the same 4 brushes all the time. Well, I do, more or less. I quite like that now. Sticking, put it flat, see what it's like. With a mask around it.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Could be yours for a small fee, madam.
I've already blown my art fund.
It's a bit, it reminds me of trouble is when I do, it's always Pine Walk I've got in the back of my head, you know, thinking I'll do this one I'll have it framed up and on the stand tomorrow morning, which I won't do, but yeah, chuff with that.
Yeah, that's really good.
Not bad. Well, as I was partway saying earlier, I was doing these videos, but it like the finished picture and doing a scan of it, and Chris probably saw a few. It was like an hour watercolor in a minute, and the time of the video was a minute, and I put some music to it, and that's where it started, this thought of I've got to do it in an hour, you know.
Mhm.
And I think it's, I don't know why, it seems to have stuck with me. So I've got this psyche now that each watercolor takes an hour. Yet years ago, when I was, I had to rented a little gallery in Wales, in Somerset. It was a shed really for a while, shared it. And there was a guy came in there, and like they do, and he was a bit mouthy and going on saying this, I watercolors and all this, I can do watercolors. And I remember him saying, if it takes you more than 10 minutes, it ain't a watercolor. You should be able to knock them off like that. He has got a point. I think when you look at some of the, sped up watercolors demos that people do in that, you think, that's got a point. I don't think 10 minutes, but an hour is quite a good time to get the whole shooting match there, because at the end of the day you should be using the water to let it flow down and do it. That's all part of the aim really, is to let the water do as much of the work as possible and give it all that blending and feathering in, as I was calling it today. Oh, look at my new braces. Hey, Gordy.
Oh, very nice.
Wow.
He's not here.
I've got
Oh,
cars on my bracers.
Oh, wow.
was that a Christmas present?
Mel bought them. She bought some
Fabulous.
like this and another pair with gardening tools all over. They're twice this size. These are
All
big.
right.
They're about 2-3 inches wide.
Oh my goodness.
I wonder they call them suspenders. You can suspend the ceiling with these things.
Oh.
Magic. Wow, that's a good morning's work. That I'm really chuffed with that.
Yeah.
Not often I say that, but I'm really pleased. Okay.
Yeah, it turned out well, that one.
Yeah.
Gonna be a
Oh.
challenge.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping. Just remembered it's Andy Mason's memorial service today. Online, they do it on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was at 12 o'clock. So, but it doesn't matter, does it? Because it's streamed, so you can watch it later. I think.
Mm.
Fingers crossed.
Well, I'm going to say cheerio
Yeah.
and thank you, and see you next time.
Yeah.
Hopefully with the Durdle door complete.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah. Bye, Joy.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
Bye. Right, I'm going to go as well.
Yeah. Early lunch today, I think.
Yeah.
We're all going to disappear.
Yeah, I'm up.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Dave. That was great.
It's nearly 20 past anyway.
Yeah. Happy New Year to you all.
And you.
And,
Happy New Year.
We'll
All the
see you
best.
next week.
yeah. See you
Yeah.
next week.
Bye then. I can't turn it off because I don't know.
I'll do it. Don't
Right.
worry.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Cheers, guys.
I got a bit mucked up with because I didn't do it first. I should have done, but I
Well,
don't know.
that is naughty. You should be getting a black mark for that one.
Yeah. And then I realised, I thought, oh, you said all the heads have got to be in line and they're not. So these at the front should have been a bit bigger, should they really?
Yeah,
But
that's
they
the
would have-
irony of it. If you
Yeah,
look
but
at
they
that,
would have been huge, wouldn't they, if I did
no,
it?
if those two front figures, if their headline was just above or just level with those two over there,
Yeah,
it would
that
work
would have been
really well.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not none of these things are rules set in stone, but they are advisories. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you say, sometimes it works. Same with horizons. Sometimes it's say you should always have the horizon sort of 2/3 down, or the sky, isn't it? And
Yeah.
number of times that it's sort of just off center and it works much better. It's unbelievable. It's a close up.
Did you see the
think-
clock? I put it at 5 to midnight.
It's very good.
Going to midnight mass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was the idea.
yeah, it's awesome. The picture tells a story, which I love, as you know. But
Oh,
they all should try and tell a story.
oh, that's good.
Can't remember that was Chris's, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I like your tree.
Leaning Tower.
Mm.
That church has been there for about 2,000 years. It's bound to be a bit more.
Oh,
I'm still meaning to sit down and copy some of your gravestones and put them in the middle of mine.
yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Oh yes, and there was another.
Oh, it's
thing.
Joyce. That's Joyce. We can tell yours now,
I was
Joyce.
going to say, how could you tell?
Oh, it's nice. It's
You've got a
different.
really good style. I like it.
Thank
Yeah.
you. It was fun. I always like it when it's fun.
Hmm.
I like the way you.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Okay.
Couldn't get off the phone. It was my neighbour.
Mm.
Yeah, well, if you tell her do you want my bank account details so she can send the check direct? Very lucky. Yeah, that one came in yesterday. I love that.
Hmm.
And the subtle, you remember to put the the snow on the roof, not down the walls of the church, which is
Yeah. I find it quite hard to get the snow effect, but I think I probably got there.
Mm.
Very
yeah,
good.
it's,
Very
it's
nice.
just a mix in it. It's white, but it's not white. It's a bit of blue
Yeah.
violet, sort of
Mm.
Alzurian crimson and blue mixed together, sort of almost like dirty water, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very subtly worked on. Yeah, it's a real star. I love it. Oh, that was
That's
Pauline.
Pauline.
I think
Yeah.
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 that
I've
was.
seen it for ages.
It's all right. I'm going to stop that share because that was from week before last or a couple of weeks ago. But it's amazing how much we do in such a short time as well.
Yeah.
I haven't had time to do the Robin yet, whether I will. He's been and gone.
Yeah, you can do Robins anytime.
Yeah.
Bless him. Let me see. This is the more up-to-date one.
Mrs. Coleman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Like
Well, not
that.
literally Mrs. Coleman, but
Yeah, well,
I look about as bad as that, Chris. Yeah.
I was going to say,
I only
wig's
need some
looking
feathers in my
nice.
hair. I'll be there.
yeah, she's got some
You're
hairpins.
developing your own style as well, Anne, and recognising it.
Yeah. The only
with the
thing with
pen.
pencil, it comes over harder on there than it does in real life. It's kind of
Mm.
softer in real life,
Right.
Yeah,
but it always looks a bit harsh on screen.
Right.
Well, he
It
looks
was
a bit
fun.
harsh. Yeah, that's good.
It's great expression.
Mm.
I can change it a bit.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
playing
it's
around
just,
there.
yeah, as you see, it goes very hard. I have done him with all his headdress as well.
Oh.
Oh,
That was fun.
We
Yeah.
can, yeah. I
that
can-
looked quite hard.
Mm.
that was a cracker.
Oh,
That's got
Wow.
cheeky feathers, that has.
I've said this before, but I can see some of the portraits. I can almost tell which ones were done by blokes and which ones were done by women. The women ones tend to have a I don't know. They look like more. I don't know if it's friendly or whatever the word is. They look more feminine.
Oh dear.
Maybe it's because I'm a bloke. It looks like the hair on that looks more like, I don't know, Victorian Edwardian lady.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
Not criticism. I love them, but it's
Yeah,
just
I had I think I put too much colour on his face and then I couldn't get rid of it. Oh, I was fiddling around. Because I
like the- I
started
like
that
the cheeky
before you
feather.
did
The
yours,
feather's
so
good.
I didn't know it was all supposed to be in white, so I just put him in a red jacket.
I'm slowly developing some sort of a style towards painting these things.
Mm,
And it's really lovely.
wow. The eyes are still hard though, aren't they, to get
Yeah,
right?
you'd think, yeah, if you sort of, would you buy a used car off of this man?
No.
Or we use tomahawk.
Yeah, more like it, yeah,
you can see why he got the job.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
But-
dear.
Joking aside, the worry lines are all there, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, which is great. I think,
I find it hard to make them have, they're always flat instead of having more expression. I don't know quite what I'm doing wrong.
Oh, I think he's got quite a bit
Yeah.
of expression.
The eyes are okay.
Yeah.
well, I think,
I forgot.
I
the white
took a bit
spot
of
in
his
mine.
hair away and then I was getting all blue in the white. Oh, I was getting in a right mess with it.
well,
But never mind.
No,
I think he's
two to
fine.
go and you'll be up
That's
to
good.
speed.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
wow.
good.
there's an ambitious one.
bit
Yeah.
feral, isn't it?
I bet that's Chris, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
That's
Yeah.
fabulous.
How
Wow.
long did that take, Chris?
Yesterday afternoon,
All right.
It's good, yeah.
in a rush.
Wow.
She didn't like it, but I sort of said, well, for me, I was on the fairground going around the gallopers, and they always had those panels with pictures and paintings. And I thought,
Mhm.
that's one. That would look really great in one of those. Could even brighten it up. If it works on.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
nice.
Yeah, it's definitely got a. I know,
Do
I
you paint that
definitely-
on paper, Chris, or is it a board?
Yeah. No, it's on paper, canvas paper.
Mm.
I went to Hobbycraft yesterday. I had some gift tokens for Christmas, and they
Oh.
had ads of Daily Rainey multimedia paper,
Mm.
half price. They were
Oh.
625, A4 size, 625 instead of 12.50. So I bought two, and
Oh, that's
Oh.
okay, yeah.
yeah, and there's quite a lot of pages, so I thought, well, I'll
Yeah.
try it out. So that was the paper I used, so it was a bit different.
Mm.
Yeah, it was fun, but I got a bit lost with the background. But anyway,
It needs a
Yeah.
moody background.
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
it's good.
not my best, but it was fun. He looks like he's wearing a bustle.
Mm.
That's good. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can't imagine who painted that.
Yeah, it's that simplistic style is lovely.
Mm.
It's my naive look.
Yeah.
I knocked, I
You
think,
like
about
that.
20
Well,
years
it's
off.
good.
Don't worry.
But,
I watched a program on BBC Two, I think last night. It was about Impressionism. Salvador Dali, Brecon, and all these guys. That was eye-opening.
Mm.
I turned off when they were talking about the dead donkeys over the piano.
I must have missed that bit, or fell
Oh.
asleep. I don't know.
It was a bit gruesome, and I thought, oh no, I can't do this at the moment.
Well, do you think there is sort of partly saying, well, it starts, you're trying to interpret your dreams into reality in a picture or a sculpture or whatever. And some of those things you think, well, there's something wrong with those people. If they're having dreams like that, they really need to go and see a shrink or something. Well, they did go to see Sigmund Freud, and he thought they were all crackpots. But after meeting Dali, he thought there was something in it. And I thought, all right, you're as bad as them. Yeah, I like that one.
Mm,
Yeah.
it's good.
Thanks.
So
this
much.
is why I think it's nice that we're all doing the same subject, because it's great to see how we interpret it differently.
Yeah, like you go from that to that and you think, wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's why I tend, if I can, I'll give my research, I'll do a couple of different images,
Oh.
Oh, that's good. Whose is that?
That's Mr.
Mine, I think.
Pauline's.
Who?
Oh, that's great.
It is.
Good.
It's,
Yeah, I love the background. It looks like a wall, a really
Mm.
lumpy wall.
Yeah.
that's what I kept saying last week, wasn't it? Was wanted it to look like an old sort of distressed wall or something,
Mm.
I think he's inside his wigwam there. Little fold.
Mm.
We can't tell because like they caught him and shot him anyway, didn't they? It's more or less typical Americans. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Makes a big difference when I put them in a little frame, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
And I've kept the same one for a few weeks as well. Oh, let's see. Yeah, there's some good work there.
Mine looks awful, really.
What?
I think he
I
does.
do think it does, Carol.
No,
Oh.
it really doesn't.
I think
Everybody's
you-
different, aren't they?
you
There's
wanted
so many
to-
different.
if you wanted to have, I would say,
It looks
I
like
was-
an old granny, doesn't it?
well, they all look. And now I said earlier that I thought some of the, I could tell the ones painted by girls, but now I've looked at that again, I can't. I think that looks pretty okay. Yeah.
Oh,
I think if it was me, I think I'd probably get a stiff brush, clean water, and lift as much of this
That-
colour out of the feathers as I could, really. Especially just leave the top bit, the dull, dark
oh,
bit,
right, okay.
and all that, just lift off some white. And I think you'll find, because the staining power of the paint, it would actually,
Look
it would
better.
look like it had feathered, feathered down. It looked
Right.
quite nice, and it would detract from the, it would send it back because it's come too forward.
Right,
Other
okay.
than that,
Oh, well.
it looks pretty good to me.
All a learning process, isn't it?
Well,